Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and some of you may be a bit confused about why this video is up, especially at this point in time. Some of you may be confused that I'm making a video like this at all, or you're just, like, surprised. But for those of you who followed my channel and you've watched the video that I put out yesterday, you would know that I did try to watch Spider-Man Homecoming, and it failed. I was only able to watch half of it because of the weather, and the weather was screwing up the movies, like almost all the movies in the theater, and I was not able to finish the movie, and I was honestly so mad, and then my parents said that I wasn't going to be able to see the rest of it. We weren't going to be able to see the rest of it until Friday, and that made me even more angry. But then I was actually told that I was going to be watching the full movie today, like the actual next day, and I just found out, and literally this was my response. I literally burst out, "We can?" Like when they said, "Do you want to see Spider-Man Homecoming?" The rest of it, and I said, "We can?" Jeez, that was honestly, like, this is one of the greatest days of my life. Like, honestly, I'm so happy that I was able to see this movie, the full movie. I was hyping this up for like months, and then like hyping it up even more in the past few weeks. I'm just so happy that I was able to see it. I know I had to watch the first half, and yes, that did kind of get a bit repetitive. I had to see stuff. I didn't laugh at as many things. There were still some things that were funny, but I didn't laugh as many things, and you know what, didn't really have the same feel to it. But then we started getting into the new stuff, and it was good, and I'll get in all of that right now because I am going to be reviewing this movie, telling you what I liked, what I didn't like. If you want to see me talking and going more into detail about what happened last time, like when I tried to see it again yesterday, I'll put a link in the description if you want to go see that video. But if you're here for a review of Spider-Man Homecoming, well, here's what I have to say. So let's get right into this. So first of all, the acting. Honestly, this was a great cast. I thought everyone was well cast. Ned Leeds and Peter Parker, you know, Ned Leeds and Peter Parker, they do a great job at doing what they do. You know, Tom Holland is a great actor, and I forget the name of Ned Leeds, you know, Jacob something, I forget his last name. But he's also really good too, you know, playing this friend that's like so like amazed that he's Spider-Man. You know, he's asking him so many questions, you know, that was funny. And by the way, this is a spoiler review, so you know, I will be starting to get into spoilers. I should probably say that before I keep going. I don't think I spoiled anything just yet. But anyway, so yeah, I thought those two were well cast. Michael Keaton as the Vulture is one of my favorite villains in the Marvel Universe up until this point. I was actually able to sympathize with him a bit, you know, saying how, you know, I need to do this to protect my family, and you know, everyone can relate to that, you know, especially the adults, you know, they can relate to that very much, and I thought that this was really good. This is the type of villain we really need. You know, some of the Marvel villains have kind of been a bit, you know, one-dimensional or like, you know, not really fleshed out enough, or, you know, like their motivations are a bit weird, but this time, you know, you can sympathize with this villain, you know what he's going through, and, you know, Michael Keaton does a great job of bringing this character to life. I really thought he was amazing, and, you know, everyone else, you know, like Marissa Tomei, who played Aunt May, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, and then you have, you know, Flash Thompson and Liz Allen and all those characters, you know, they were well cast as well. I thought the acting was great in this movie. You know, like I said, Tom Holland, I think he's my favorite Spider-Man. I even pretty much decided that after Civil War, just because he made me smile so much. But you know, now I'm sure of it. Now I'm sure that he's my favorite live-action Spider-Man on screen that we've seen. I'm so happy. You know, I thought this was a great cast. When it comes to the humor, oh my gosh, this movie was so funny. There were honestly like so many things that I don't really know why I'm starting to like limit myself on what I'm gonna say because this is a spoiler review. But you know, some of the jokes, you know, you're not expecting a lot of the jokes. There are some jokes that like make it to the movie that you have never seen before, you know, in the trailers. Obviously, there are some jokes that you would have seen before, but there are so many funny things that you are not expecting that you've never seen before. One of the things that got me like almost in tears in the movie was when Spider-Man's using his voice synthesizer, you know, for interrogation mode when he's speaking. I'm not even sure if that was one of the funniest things in the movie. It's just like him talking to this guy, and you know, who's going to be the future Prowler, hopefully. That's actually the guy, the real name of the guy is actually the real name of the Prowler, who's another Spider-Man character. Maybe we'll see him later. But yeah, just when he's using the voice synthesizer and, you know, he's trying to interrogate this guy, oh my god, I was almost in tears, guys. Like, nothing in that movie made me laugh as much as that. I don't know why, it probably wasn't the funniest thing in the movie. I don't know, just him using this, like, deep voice, you know, to interrogate this guy. Oh my god, that was so hilarious. And, you know, a ton of other things were so funny in this movie as well. You know, when, Ned Leeds just saying, you know, I'm watching porn, you know, just, you know, later in the movie when he's, you know, trying to help Spider-Man, being the guy in the chair. I thought that was hilarious. You know, there's so many funny things. You know, the end credit scenes, those were both good. The first one is when the Vulture, or, Adrian Toomes is talking to Mac Gargan. Hopefully he'll be the future Scorpion. I've been waiting for the Scorpion, to be in the big screen, on the big screen for so long, and it looks like we might get him soon, which is so good. So we have that, and, you know, like, it's kind of hard to say what side Vulture is on right now, or at least when it comes to Peter Peter Parker, because yes, he did get in the way of like everything that Adrian Toomes was working to, you know, for like 8 years, but at the same time, he saved not only him, but also his daughter, Liz Allen. Actually, more on that later, about him being the father of Liz Allen. But, you know, he saved both of them, and, you know, he has to respect him for that. So, yeah, he saved both of their lives. So it's kind of hard to say how he feels about Spider-Man right now, how he feels about Peter Parker. And then there was the other end credit scene, which was so hilarious. It was another Captain America thing, and, you know, talking about, you know, the end credit scenes, you know, you wait for so long, wondering if it's even worth it. That was hilarious as well. There's so many funny things in this movie. The action sequences were really good as well. I had a lot of fun watching them, and, you know, there was that one thing, you know, on the plane when it's lighting up, you know, closer to the end of the movie. That one was kind of, you know, that one was kind of a bit, you know, hard to follow, just because, you know, it was in the sky, you know, there's so many lights. It was kind of hard to follow what was going on, but it was still good. It was still fun to watch. Other than that, the action sequences were, like, so good, you know, when he's fighting the Shocker and when he's fighting Vulture. Oh, on the villains. I loved how they did the villains. They did, if you guys remember, if you guys have followed my channel in the past, I did make a separate video on how to do the villains in the MCU, or how to do the villains in Spider-Man, even if there are multiple villains, how to do it right. And basically what I was saying is that they need to operate as a single unit, as opposed to them coming from, like, different sides of things, you know, like with, you know, in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know, there's Green Goblin, he's doing this because he's dying, you know, there's Electro, he's doing this because he got his feelings hurt. So, you know, but when they're all working as a single unit, it works because it doesn't overcomplicate things. And that's what happened. They were working as a single unit, you know, there was the Tinkerer, there was, you know, Vulture, and then there was Shocker, the two Shockers, and everyone else there, you know, Matt Gargan, you know, they were all working as a single unit, and that's what you need. That's what a Spider-Man movie needs, with multiple villains, and I'm so happy that they did that correctly. Anyway, moving back to the action scenes, I thought that was really good. Like, all of them were really good. And, you know, when it comes to, what was it? Liz Allen being the Vulture's daughter. What I had heard, I'd actually been spoiled about this. I had heard that Michelle was actually going to be the daughter of Vulture, but she's not. She's actually MJ. She says that, you know, at the end of the movie, my friends call me MJ. So now it looks like she's Mary Jane, and it looks like, you know, Liz Allen, she is the daughter of Adrian Toomes, and that's honestly kind of weird, because Liz Allen, Adrian Toomes, they don't have the same last name. Maybe some, I don't know, you know, obviously anything could happen. I don't know why they don't have the same last name. I guess it was just to keep things under wraps. I am kind of happy that they did that, though, because that means I wasn't spoiled, and, you know, I think it worked out pretty well. And it does look like Liz Allen is moving away. You know, we're not going to be seeing her anymore, and honestly, I really like that, because that means, you know, when he starts, you know, like, she's not a rival for another love interest, because I was just thinking, you know, if she sticks around, Peter's still going to be hung up on her, and that's not really going to work that well. You know, with MJ, probably he'll get a little something with her eventually. I'm not sure if they're going to put Gwen Stacy into this, but that's besides the point. I'm just happy that now Liz Allen is gone, and he doesn't have as many girls to worry about right now, even though he did have a lot of girls in high school, you know, that was, you know, like Deborah Whitman, Liz Allen, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy. I could honestly keep going, you know, maybe even just outside of school, you know, like Black Cat. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I am with that. I am happy that they did that. I did think that, you know, when Tony Stark was going to take the suit away, I honestly didn't think he was going to give it back. And the reason for that is because I thought that, you know, Peter Parker, you know, he had to learn how to do his stuff without this high-tech suit, because, you know, if you're familiar with the comics in any way, shape, or form, you know that Spider-Man does not have that many things in his suit. And I was kind of happy when Iron Man took that away, just because, you know, he doesn't have that many things in his suit. However, I didn't want him to keep using his homemade suit, because, you know, it just didn't really look like what Spider-Man's suit really looks like. So what I wanted is for there to be a completely different suit, you know, one that looked better, but one that didn't have as much tech. But then eventually Iron Man gives the suit back to him. So I guess I can live with this. I guess I can live with the fact that, you know, this is just a new world, and it makes more sense that Tony gives him all this stuff in his suit. You know, it just makes more sense that way. Not sure if Tony's gonna enable the training wheels protocol again or not. I'm not really sure about that. And, you know, when he did introduce, like, this new suit, you know, introducing him in the Avengers, you know, I was actually kind of mad, because I thought that was a step in the wrong direction, you know, giving him an even more high-tech suit. So I guess I can live with the fact that he has his other suit back. Hopefully I'll be able, like, I'm sure I'll be able to live with that. It's just, I feel it's more true to the character. If Spider-Man doesn't have that much tech, he's still just his regular guy, you know, with webs and, you know, being able to climb walls and everything like that. One thing that I really liked about this movie was that scene where Spider-Man is actually trying to, like, when he has this thing that he just can't budge, when he's, like, trapped under so much debris, and then he finally is able to do it, he's able to get the power and able to do it. That is straight out of the comic books, for those of you guys who don't know. I'm not sure the name of the issue of the comic, but I do know there is one comic where Spider-Man is, like, really mad at Dr. Octopus. Again, I forgot the reason why. It might have had something to do with Aunt May. And I know that, you know... Oh, yeah, it does have something to do with Aunt May, I think. And then, like, Spider-Man, you know, he's trying to stop Dr. Octopus. He's really mad. And then they cause so much destruction in the building that Spider-Man is, like, trapped under so much debris, and he can't budge the dang thing. And then he's finally able to actually, you know, get the strength and able to do it. It might be too much for him, but he's able to do it because he's that determined. And they took that right out of the comics, they put that here, and that just made the movie so much better for me, honestly. You know, it's those little things, well, I mean, this wasn't really a little thing, but it's those things that when you take out of the comics and put them right into the movies, that's great. That's honestly so great. I was so happy that they did that. I was not expecting that at all, but I was so happy to say, I know where that's from. So, yeah, I was really happy about that. Another thing I was happy about, which some of you might not agree with me on, is the thing that, you know, Spider-Man, it's kind of hard to remember if you've seen the movie, but maybe not that hard to remember, but it's kind of hard to explain. It's like, whenever Spider-Man is showing up somewhere, he is kind of making things worse. You know, when he's fighting the bank robbers that dressed like the Avengers, you know, he's kind of causing more destruction than if he had just left them. And same, you know, when it comes to the ferry, the boat, you know, when he's trying to hold it together, he caused more destruction just by being there and trying to stop them. Same with the final battle, he's like surrounded by fire, he's causing more destruction. And some of you might think, you know, that's a bit, you know, it's not really a good thing. However, I think that because Spider-Man is learning, and because, you know, this is like one of his first times actually doing one big, huge thing like this, I think it fits really well, because, you know, Spider-Man's actions, they do have consequences. And, you know, when Spider-Man has finally defeated the Vulture, and he's surrounded by fire, you know, it's like, those are the consequences. Like, things like this have consequences. Just like when the Avengers are fighting the Chitauri army, it's like there's going to be collateral damage. But especially with Spider-Man, this is his first time doing this. He's never done this before. So I actually thought it fit really well. You know, he does, like, consequences happen, you know, things happen. And, you know, Tony talks to him about this, you know, that's on you, you know, when it comes to the boat. So I think that actually fits really well, that he hasn't learned much yet, and he's actually, you know, he needs to learn, and he needs to be able to do this better. He needs to learn how to do all this better, and, you know, save the world better. But anyway, so yeah, those are the main things that I really liked about it. I liked the cast, I really liked the action and the humor, you know, just also those little things in there, you know, that I'm happy that they did that, you know, with, Liz Allen moving away, and, you know, with, and, you know, I'm kind of happy that they didn't kill the Vulture. If they do want the Vulture to come back, you know, they obviously can. I think they're leaving that door open. In fact, this Vulture kind of seems more like the Green Goblin, in the sense that, you know, he's kind of like this big guy that, you know, that hates Spider-Man, and he knows his secret identity, and he might want to make life miserable for him. And it makes sense, because they've said that they do not want they don't want any past villains to be in this new MCU. So, you know, that makes sense. You know, maybe they're trying to turn Vulture into more of like an arch nemesis type character, which I'm honestly okay with, because, you know, they're not going to be bringing in Norman Osborn. They're probably not going to be bringing in Harry Osborn, and they're not going to be bringing in characters like Sandman, and obviously not Venom. You know, he's getting his own movie. But, you know, yeah, those are the kinds of things that I really like. I liked a lot about this movie. I'll give a summary at the very end. Now I'm going to talk about some of the things I didn't quite like, or some of the things that I wish they had done maybe a bit differently. First of all, I already talked about the suit and how Spider-Man got his suit back. Again, I guess I can probably live with this. I will be able to live with it. It's just that, again, I kind of wish that, you know, Tony kind of kept the suit, because, you know, the Spider-Man that we know, he doesn't have all this tech. He's just a guy that relies on, you know, his quick wit, you know, his own abilities, and we know that he's not invincible. And I feel like this tech thing, you know, makes him a bit more OP than he usually is, although he does not seem to have spider sense in this. In fact, one of the people that worked on the movie, I think, even said that, you know, it's something we're going to experiment with maybe later, but as far as we're concerned at this moment, Peter Parker does not have spider sense. And that's something I already put together from Civil War. There are multiple instances where he gets, like, knocked off his feet, you know, from Ant-Man, and or when he's giant, and from Red Wing, you know, flying in, you know, there are just some instances where it's clear he does not have spider sense. So, yeah, there's that as well. I guess that was just something I needed to bring up. This doesn't really have anything to do with the review, it's just something I wanted to say. There's also another thing, the final battle, you know, when, you know, Vulture gets, you know, his wings, they're going to blow up, or whatever, and, you know, Spider-Man is trying to save him. I get what they were trying to do, and I understand that, like Vulture, he's trying to fly off of his stuff, but, Spider-Man's trying to save him. I don't know, I just really wish that Spider-Man was the one to defeat him. I know that overall, yes, Spider-Man was there, he was the one that was responsible for crashing the plane, and, he was the one that overall led to this, but I don't know, I just kind of wish that, Spider-Man was the one that gave the final blow, and, it wasn't his suit that was doing that, it wasn't his suit that led to his downfall. And I understand that Spider-Man is still learning, and he might not be able to do that on his own. I completely understand that. I don't know, I guess I was building this up a bit too much in my head, how's Spider-Man gonna defeat the Vulture? I don't know, but I guess that's just, you guys might disagree with me on that, and if you do, that's perfectly fine. I don't know, I just kind of wish that, Spider-Man was the one to finally do it, to finally finish him off. But, other than that, I can't really think of that many things that I wasn't happy with, other than the stuff that I've already mentioned. Like I said, I really like the cast, I really like a lot of the little moments that they put in there. There were honestly some instances where I was really worried for Peter Parker, I was really worried for Spider-Man. Even the scene where it's like, Spider-Man is like, he's holding the ship together, and obviously I knew Iron Man was gonna fly in, because I've seen that from the trailer, but I was honestly still worried at that point. That's how absorbed I was into this movie. I was so absorbed that I forgot, that Iron Man was gonna fly in. I was honestly so worried about Peter Parker and him trying to save the ship. I was so worried about that. That's how absorbed I was into the movie, and that's really good, for a movie. If I'm so absorbed, that's really good. And also, I like other times where I was worried for Spider-Man. When he's trapped under the debris, and when he's like almost, when the Vulture almost kills him, closer to the end, when he's like holding him. I was legitimately worried for him. So I'm really happy that I was, because that means I was absorbed into this movie. I'm really happy about that. So overall, yes, I did really enjoy this movie. This is definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie out of the 6. How it fits into my MCU list, I do actually have a list about where I would put all these MCU movies. I might make a separate video on that. If you're interested in seeing that, you can tell me in the comments below. But right now, I'm not going to tell you where I'm putting it in my list, but I do really like it. It's definitely in my top 5 MCU movies. Some of you may disagree with me on that, some of you may not, I don't really know. But, tell me in the comments below, did you guys like this movie? I hope that you've seen this movie, because I gave away some spoilers. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I really hope you guys enjoy this movie. I really enjoyed it overall. I really enjoyed it. Obviously there were some things that I would have done differently, but the humor was awesome, the cast was awesome, the action sequences were really good, just those little things, or those things that are in the movie that, are like nods to the comics, or just like those like little Easter eggs and stuff like that, I really like that as well. And I like that you can sympathize with the villain. I thought this was a great movie. I know that I'd only seen half of it, before, and I was really mad, but now I'm just so happy that I was able to finish it. I'm so happy that I did, because I wasn't able to be spoiled on anything, and now I'm able to say that it was a great movie, it was a great experience, and I was on the edge of my seat for a very long time. So guys, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you watched this, but I highly recommend you do. If you do have some doubts about this movie, please give it a chance, because it is really great. It's not really Iron Man's movie, this is Spider-Man's movie. I know Iron Man has been like really hyped up, he's been in a lot of trailers, but it is not Iron Man's movie, it is Spider-Man's movie. This does feel like a Spider-Man movie, it does not feel that much like an MCU movie, which is honestly a good thing when it comes to Spider-Man, because we're so used to this Spider-Man being distant thing, and obviously they can't do that anymore, but they're making it as much of a Spider-Man movie as they possibly can, and I really do like that. And stick around obviously for the end credits. I already told you, and you should have watched the movie already unless you're into spoilers. But anyway, so yeah, if you enjoyed this review, please give this video a like, comment down below what you thought of the movie, what you thought of the review, other things you might want to comment down, and if you could subscribe to my channel, guys, that'd be so great. That would really help my channel out. If some of you don't know, I will eventually be putting Tom Holland up against Tobey Maguire in one of my own Versus videos, hopefully sooner rather than later, though I don't really know exactly when. And that show is called Who'd Win and Why. It is my own opinionated Versus show. If you're into that kind of stuff, maybe click the link, my channel name, and go to my channel. It'll be under the playlist called Who'd Win and Why, which is the name of the series, and if you want to check some of those out, you can. But your view is plenty of contribution anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching the review. If you haven't seen this movie, go see it. I really hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. That's it for the review, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Peace.